Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I have recently found a test for testing my level of Swedish, so I thought today would be fun to see where I'm at. I'm using this one from Folkuniversitetet. I think it's like an institute in Sweden that offers language courses. They offer, I think, courses in different languages because you can take the test in different languages, but I obviously want to test my Swedish. Yeah, let's read what it says. So it's partly self-assessment, which is going to be hard maybe, but and then grammar and vocabulary, reading skills, listening skills. Yeah, I feel like it says oral and written skills will not be assessed online, just a self-assessment. I feel like that's the trickiest part because I feel like my Swedish level, it's like I can understand a lot in Swedish. I can read books, I can watch shows and understand quite a lot, but I don't feel like my grammar is necessarily very good. I feel like that's going to make it hard to really say that I have one level. So it can apparently take between half an hour and an hour and a half. Hopefully it won't take that long, but I am quite curious, and I think especially because it's so long it sounds like it's quite legit, and also because this institute seems quite legit, so I do feel like taking this test will give me a pretty accurate idea of where I'm at. So I signed up and I am now ready to start taking this test. So yeah, in Swedish, as I said, start the test. Okay, so I have to choose my entry level for writing skills. That's a tricky one, because as I said, I feel like I understand a lot, but I don't know. I don't feel like I have a very good grasp on grammar concept. Most of the time I just do what feels right, but I think especially when it comes to word order, I make a lot of mistakes probably. So let's see what they say for descriptions for the different levels. Yeah, I kind of feel, personally, I feel like my level on average is sort of like B1, but my comprehension is better than that, but then my writing and speaking skills are a little bit below that maybe, so maybe I should say A2. Or B1, I don't know. Medium level 1, basic level 2. I'll just try B1. I think if I'm not doing well, it'll put me in the right place, hopefully. Oh right, this was just self-assessment, so maybe this is not good. We'll see. I can write simple and coherent text on work-related topics and other areas of interest. For example, describe my free time activities coherently and in detail. I don't know, I've made videos, or at least I've talked about like books I've read in Swedish in the past. But other topics I don't know, and it's been a while since I've really actively used my Swedish. Maybe I should say cannot here. Okay, now we're getting to actual exercises. Vocabulary and grammar. Choose the word which fits the best. Imorgon ska jag hålla... Föredrag om vårt nya projekt på språkkonferensen. Nu ska vi äntligen åka på semester, men vi har tyvärr inte så mycket pengar annars. Skulle vi ha åkt till ishotellet i Jukkasjärvi. Så nu har vi hyrt ett sommarhus i Gifta i 2 veckor. Och velat. Hud. Har du varit i Knivsta tidigare? Ja, många gånger. För länge sedan var jag gift med en man som jobbade i köttdiske på Ica. Jaha, men du, var ligger sommarhuset? Mittemot Ica. Något som känns lite jobbigt eftersom min exman fortfarande jobbar där. Till vad behöver du en kniv? I'll do that one. I'm not sure. Ah, that's nice. Your results indicate that you should continue to on a higher level. Continue. Okay. Läs texten och välj rätt ord. Read the text and choose the right word. Urbanisering, ett växande problem. Idag bor mer än 3 av världens över 7 miljarder människor på mindre än 2% av jordens yta, vilket alltså I can't remember what this means ytterligare. I've seen this word before, but I don't remember it. Definitely not this one. Also, I'll just go with this one, but it might be this one. I just don't remember what it means. Alltså betyder att nästan varje människor bor i en stad. Higher level. I don't think this is already tricky enough. I feel like my grammar is definitely not C1 level. I feel like an imposter, but läs följande mail. Välj ett ord eller den fras som passar bäst. Choose the word or phrase that fits best. Self-assessment. Okay. I can understand the majority of correspondence and rarely need a dictionary. I don't know. I felt like that was true, but the last part was quite tricky. There was some sentences that I didn't understand. But do you think in context I usually can understand pretty much everything? Understand long and demanding texts even when they contain complex views and opinions. Analysis, comments and more detailed reports from magazines, journals and newspapers. There I would say I can. Understand ordinary manuals and instructions, including those outside my professional field and areas of interest. Ordinary manuals? Maybe, but outside my professional field. I don't know, I found the recipe quite tricky. Surprisingly enough. I don't know, I feel like it should be very simple because it's very like action-based instructions, but it sounded more difficult than other texts I usually read, so maybe I cannot. Read the text and answer the questions. Välkommen till dagens debatt om Sveriges statsskick. Den senaste tiden har debattens vågor gått höga vad gäller den befintliga monarkins vara eller icke vara. So it's about the Swedish monarchy. Sveriges monarki vilar på en 1000-årig tradition och många personer anser att den bör bevaras, medan andra förespråkar ett republik. republikanskt styrt Sverige. Med oss idag har vi Carl Jan Suverstolpe, historiker och tillika informatör vid hovet, och Kenneth Ronnyson, journalist och ivrig samhällsdebattör. Vi börjar med att ge ordet till Karjan. Another text, okay. About how children learn a language. That's interesting. Hur lär sig barn språk? Det finns olika teorier om hur ett barn läser sitt modersmål. Last test, or last text. Regeringen förslår en lag som tydliggör statens ansvar. I can feel my brain. It's like my concentration is not as good as it was anymore at the beginning. Listening comprehension. A radio debate about cell phones.
Välkomna till dagens debatt, och vi ska diskutera mobiltelefonanvändningen och hur den ser ut idag och hur den ska se ut i framtiden.
I can present topics in my professional fields and areas of interest in a clear and structured way if given time to prepare. Yes, I could do that. I can talk about a book in a video. That would be doable if I have time to prepare. Build up and present my arguments logically and coherently. I think so. I don't know if I'm not able to do that. I don't know if that has to do with my language abilities really, but rather with my chaotic brain. These results document the above person's language proficiency according to the CEFR in Swedish. Okay, so it does split it up. Writing based on self-assessment B1. Maybe. Vocabulary and grammar test result is higher than C1. That feels... I'm not sure I believe that. That feels a bit too high. At least grammar. I don't feel like I have such a strong grasp on grammar concepts, so this feels quite high. I know it does, that's obviously not the self-assessment, it's the test, but I do feel like I didn't get that many questions. I don't know, it's tricky because I feel like there was some questions that I answered based on what sounded right, also because it sounds like a literal translation sounds right to me in Dutch. I feel like there were a couple of those. So in other instances I feel like I would guess incorrectly, if it would be a little bit more different from Dutch probably. Reading C1, I can see that. I can see that makes sense to me. I do feel like I can understand quite a lot when I read or listen. So here it's correct. Okay, here listening, my self-assessment came to C1 and the test result to B2. Yeah, that I think that's also... I wouldn't have guessed like C1 for any level, to be honest, for any type of skill. So listening, I would have... I don't know, I feel like this is just the answer that the self-assessment, the result of the self-assessment, but I would never guess for myself that my listening skills were C1. That feels very high to me, so this makes more sense to me. Not surprised really. Speaking B2 and conversation B2, I'm not sure about those. I feel like more B1. But it's difficult with the self-assessment. It really depends for me how you ask the question, like what I'm going to answer. I found it really tricky and I couldn't really think of a lot of examples. So I felt like the self-assessment, I was just kind of guessing a lot, really. And in practice, it's probably going to really depend on what topic I'm talking about. So yeah, but it's still interesting to see. Overall, my level is pretty good. At least, I think at the beginning I said that I kind of thought I was like B1, B2 in some areas, but when it came to grammar, A2 or something like that. So it's still nice to see that the test results were quite good. That's a nice confidence boost. Does say anything else? Not really. Yeah, this was fun. I don't, I don't know if it's very clear to me now what my level is, because I got a bunch of different ones. I think there's other tests that really give you only one result for all skills, but obviously that doesn't make that much sense either, because most people do have different levels for different skills, so this makes more sense. But yeah, this was quite fun to do, and it was a good practice as well, because I think some of the texts I had to read were a little bit more complicated than I usually end up reading, because I am lazy sometimes. So it was also just good practice. Yeah, it was interesting to see what results I got. And I'm interested to hear if you've ever done any of those online tests, and if you found them to be kind of accurate to what your level actually is, or if you were really surprised by the result that you got. Yeah, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll see you in a next video. Bye!